Hello everyone, it's the Crafty Missy here. So today in this video I'm going to show you how to make this cute lace bookmark. It has a little tail here of some rickrack ribbon. It's also lacy on the other side. And it has quite a bit of lace, but it's still pretty thin to put between the pages of a book. And if you don't like this romantic pretty style that you're seeing here, don't worry, you can make this in any style as long as you have the laces for it. So if you're into gothic dark style, then just use black or dark laces. So let's see what we're going to need for this project. So obviously you're going to need some laces for this tutorial. Here are the laces that I'm going to be using for this tutorial. I'm going to be making a vintage style bookmark now. And the laces that you should use should be pretty thin, because if you use very bulky laces, then your bookmark is going to be bulky and it's going to be hard to keep it between the pages of a book. Now, these laces are all from AliExpress, and I'll put the link in the description box. And this was super cheap. You can see a lace haul on my channel, so go check that out if you want to see all the laces that I got from there. But each piece of these has about 10 yards of lace. I've used some of them, of course, already, but they all cost between under $1 up to $2 per piece. So super cheap at AliExpress. Now the base of our bookmark is going to be a piece of cardstock. Here's mine. I've taken this from the cover of an old notebook. It should be thin, yet sturdy, yet flexible. Mine has some markings on it, but that doesn't really matter. I'll just quickly show you. This is my old notebook, and the cover I've cut off for various crafts, and it's the perfect type of cardboard for using in this project. Now remember, your cardstock, the color is going to show through. Like here you can see some white, you can see the white in here, you can see the white through this lace at the back. So if your cardstock is not the color that you want it to be, or if it has markings, then you're going to have to paint it. Use acrylic paints. And since I'm going to be making a vintage bookmark, I'm going to be using this gorgeous art metal paint, which makes the best gold I've ever seen anywhere. Now, of course, about the size of your bookmark, that's completely up to you. Just remember, it will not grow in length, so it will not grow this way. However, it will be wider, so it will grow in width like this. So keep that in mind when you're making it. Okay, so then, of course, that's pretty much the basic things that you need. But you are also, if you want to put in a cute ribbon like this, you don't have to if you don't want to, but if you do, then you will need the ribbon, something like that. And then you will need some masking tape. Remember, this is only for the ribbon. And of course, something to make a hole with. This is a Fiskars hole punch. Now, for everyone, of course, depending on whether you're going to be putting in a ribbon or not, you're going to need a sewing machine, and you're going to need to know how to use it. Now, if you're a beginner, this could be a great project to start your sewing career with. I would not recommend hand sewing for this because you're sewing on cardstock, and it's easy to rip this if you hand sew. And it's going to be physically pretty demanding too, because this is still pretty sturdy. So definitely use a sewing machine if at all possible. So this first step is only going to apply to those people who want to have the ribbon at the bottom or at the top of their bookmark. So others can skip ahead, go ahead and skip ahead. But we're going to do this by placing a piece of masking tape, lining it up with the bottom there. Mine is a little bit dirty, this tape, because it has been in my drawer for ages, so, but let's not care about that. Okay, because no one can see that. And then we're going to turn it over and put another piece of masking tape on this side. There, again, lining it up like that. Pick it up. And then we're going to cut off, obviously, the extra pieces there. And there we go. So now we have a little bit of sort of like a strengthening agent here for when we're going to make the hole, which we're going to be making next. So let's make the hole here using my hole punch here. I want to make my hole here in the middle. You can make it here if you want to, or here, but I'll be making it here. Is that the middle now? Let's hope it is. Okay, so here we have our hole now for the ribbon. The next step then is to paint your bookmark, especially if the color of the cardstock is not what you want, and especially if you've put in this masking tape there. So go ahead and paint it with the color of your choice. I've already painted one piece here. Look at that gold color. That is amazing, and that's why I love this paint. Now, after you have painted your bookmark, let it dry thoroughly. Just let it completely dry. And the next step then is to start sewing on the laces. So here I have sewn pieces of lace on the longer edges of my bookmark, and I just left these ends here to show you. I always like to have a little extra there just in case anything goes wrong. It's just something I'm used to doing. And obviously I'm just going to snip them off here before I start doing the, there we go, before I start doing the horizontal laces. So now I have the laces here on the sides, and now I'm going to start sewing my laces here. So as you can see here, I've already sewn the first lace, and now I'm going to show you how to sew the second lace. So I always cut my laces a little longer than they should be. This is just me. You can measure them if you want to, but I just find this easier. So you're going to fold the lace that you've sewn before and sew this straight there underneath. But remember, you cannot sew it so that they touch each other. Don't do that, because if you do that, this lace will not lay flat. It will stay like this. It will stick down. It will kind of stick up. So leave a short space there, something like that, and sew the lace here. So then the top one will lay flat on top. So the way I do it, I first sew it straight through. Here at the end, I will put my needle down and I will turn it over, and I will come back the same way. Here at the end, I'm going to take a couple of stitches back and then come to the end again and cut. Now this way you have this little piece or little space here left, and this one will lay beautifully here on the top. Now personally, I like to cut these threads off immediately, and I will show you from this other end. Since I make my laces longer, what I do is I fold this lace back, and then I kind of trim this using very sharp scissors. These are my trusty sewing scissors, and be careful so that you won't cut this lace here. So you have to be careful here if you do it this way. There we go. So I trim them on both sides, and I take these thread ends off, and the reason why I take them off immediately is they tend to get kind of snuggled to the other lace pieces that I'm putting on. So I find myself to get a neater finish, so to speak, when I do it this way. So then you would just continue placing your laces here, remembering to leave a little space here underneath, and until you have covered it all the way to the bottom here. And please remember, the hole, if you put in the hole, it needs to be on the bottom, because if you start sewing this way, then you will not be able to use this hole. And don't ask me how I know about this. But anyway, yeah, so it's just sewing to fill this whole piece of cardboard now. Here it is now. My vintage bookmark is sewn. All the laces are on there. And now it's time to put in the ribbon. And I ended up sewing just above the hole where I'm going to be putting the ribbon. Now, if you end up in a situation where you actually have to sew through the ribbon, then I probably would sew it first this side and then this side, and I would not sew through that. But of course you can sew through it if you want to. Okay, so let's put in the ribbon. I chose this pale lilac ribbon for the reason that it will kind of make this pop a little bit. So in order to tie the ribbon, you would just fold it in half. And then you would put it through this hole there, draw it underneath, and then just put these ends there through this loop here. And you can, if you want them to be the same size, that's okay. I think I will just cut that one end there. There we go. Okay, so my ribbon is in now, and now it's time to make the other side a little bit neater because it looks like this. You've been sewing on it. So a very easy way to do this would be just to cut a piece of fabric and glue it in here. But I don't really have fabric that would suit this, so I'm going to do this with some laces. So I'm going to glue this white piece of lace here in the middle. And then I'm going to be gluing 2 of these laces, which are same as these, on each side, like that. Here's my finished bookmark now. This is the other side with the laces. It's super cute. And remember, you can make this in different styles. So if this kind of vintage or cute style is not your style, then remember, you can always make it in any style you want to. And I'm definitely going to be making one more in Gothic style because I have some black laces and I want to see how this looks like in Gothic style. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you have any questions, leave them to me below and I will answer. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for being a subscriber. Have a wonderful day. Bye.